So welcome to tonight's EU Hustings at Lakeside, North Harbour, which is being hosted by the News and Verisona Law. And joining us tonight are a panel of experts and political enthusiasts who will be able to help answer your questions and address the topics surrounding the referendum.
If we had all the jobs that was going in the country at the moment filled, everyone filled by the people that are here now, we would still need more hospitals, more houses, more national health. We still need that. That's with the numbers we've got now. So how are we going to cope with more numbers about to come in if we stay in?
In agreement with David Cameron's stated target of about 100,000 new arrivals a year coming into the country, I think we could cope with that. But we can't cope with 300,000 plus. Our public services just cannot cope with it, and housing's tight enough as it is. So it's government policy, but we do need to take control of our own borders, without a doubt.
I think it's been said, and I haven't seen it denied by the Brexit side, which is that immigrants make a net contribution. Immigrants from Eastern Europe make a net contribution to the economy. If you look at the demographics, these are young people that come over here to work, pay their taxes, and don't really avail themselves of public services. Of course, we have instances of families coming here requiring school places and people requiring NHS care, but Heidi Alexander said it today, you are far more likely to be treated by an immigrant in the NHS than you are to be in a bed next to one. So the contribution, the net contribution to the economy is not in doubt, I don't think. And we do have an economy that has record levels of employment, and unemployment has been falling for the last 3 years. This is the paradox of the argument, because I find myself making the case here for the government's record, and I find people who are members of the party of government decrying what the government has done. So it's a really unusual position to be in, but nevertheless, we have a growing economy, we have falling unemployment, growing employment, and we need those workers in those industries. We can take an alternative choice, which is lower economic growth or recession, but then that will have an impact on the services that are available.
Alan said he doesn't hear it being challenged by Remain, by the Leavers. Well, here we go. The fact of the matter is, we hear this headline all the time, that there is a net contribution from immigration. But what they don't tell you is what that figure is based on. That figure is based on the amount that they earn and put into the economy through income tax, minus any welfare payments they receive. Now, on that basis, I contribute 100% because I, haven't been in hospital. All those services that I rely upon, well, who's paying for them then? Because they are not included in any of the statistics about the cost of immigration. There are additional pressures on public services. That is a fact. You cannot have more people coming into the country and not increase the pressure on public services. It is an issue that our government has not monitored it properly. We don't know what the usage of EU migrants of the NHS actually is, but it's the fact that we don't monitor the amount that they're using it, that therefore it cannot have been used in that figure to come up with that they are a net contributor.
And to come to your point where you're talking about infrastructure in particular, infrastructure to me is a matter for government. Government and local authorities should be providing the infrastructure that's in place. Now, the figures that we have seen show that EU migrants are, as one of my colleagues said, net contributors So they've paid £2.5 billion more in tax than they've received in tax credits or child benefit. Now, where's that money gone? That's the money. They're contributing money to our economy. That's the money that should be being spent on some of the infrastructure that is needed in different parts of the country.
From my perspective, I'm concerned about immigration because we have one of the most racist immigration policies in the history of this country. Because if you are a doctor or a dentist or a nurse living in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, you have to go through a strict process to find employment, have a sponsored visa application to get into the UK to come and work. However, if you're an unskilled person from Romania, Poland, Bulgaria, you want to go and wash car parks in Sainsbury's, come on in, no problem at all, yeah? So we need to be in control of our immigration so that we are bringing the right skill set into this country, because housing is at a premium. So if people want to come and live and work here and pay taxation and they've got a skill that we need, please come and we will welcome you and we will try and make that as easy as you can. And that is a commitment from the Leave campaign. And they have actually published information around how they would control their point scoring system, such as Australia. What I'm concerned about is that at the moment, someone can come here from any of the countries within the European Union and start claiming benefits on day one, up to a maximum of £10,000 a year. We've been told by the Remain campaign that as part of the Prime Minister's negotiation, that will be capped. 4 years you have to work and pay NI before you can claim any benefits. Trust me, that negotiation is going to float away like all of the other promises the European Union have made to us and other member states over the last 25, 30 years. I think that immigration concerns me. I like immigration if it's coming from the right area, but uncontrolled immigration really, really does worry me greatly.
The most recent estimate, we've got a net movement into this country of about 330,000 people a year, half of whom come from outside the EU and half from inside the EU. Now let us assume that Britain leaves the European Union. Half of those people will still come because they're on a points system. Of the others, a considerable number will come on a points system, probably at least half of them. And so we are looking at a net immigration in the current world of about 250,000 a year, even if we applied a points system to everybody. As for the work, my ward is St Jude ward, right in the south of the city. I have, out of my 10,000 odd electors, 600 who are European Union citizens. They have a G against them in the electoral register, and I know. I have yet to come across one of these people who is not in gainful employment. They are working and they are doing jobs which British people either are not capable of doing in some cases or are not willing to do in other cases. They are usually young people, and they are not under 40, and they are, well, for me, young is under 40, and they are not a drag on our economy. They contribute to our economy, and I'm very glad that most of them are here, because they keep our hospitals running.
The one where the debate's got quite nasty, actually, in many respects, because there's been a lot of scaremongering about Turkey and people coming in from Turkey, and they're all going to leave the country and come in here. And some of the disgraceful things that Nigel Farage has been suggesting in terms of, well, if you let immigrants in, they've got to start attacking people. I mean, this is the sort of level of debate which I think we don't want. We really need to get away from that. Interestingly, why did David Cameron pick the figure of 100,000 as his migration figure? Well, I don't know. I mean, he seems to just plucked it out of the air because it sounded a good figure, and it's something like we used to have it. It's not based on any analysis of what we need or what the position is or whatever. It seems to have just been plucked out of the air. And he chose net migration, which you can't control, because you can't control the number of people who leave the country. So if more people left the country, the figure would be better. I mean, what a stupid target to have chosen. I cannot understand why he did it. If you look at the latest figures that came out, if you split them, just take out all the EU migration, there was 188,000 people coming in from non-EU countries. That's the last figures that we have. Got it from the Migration Observatory in Oxford. So even if we got rid of every single EU migrant, we would still be way over the figure that David Cameron thinks. Now, we can control the non-EU migration because we can decide who comes in, but we're not cutting it. I wonder why. Maybe it's because we need these people. Maybe it's because we need them.
For about 2,000 years, we've been living in a country, now a mongrel nation, where we have survived and thrived on immigration. So I would like to sort of dispel the myth that because you're a Brexiter, you are anti-immigration. I think the difference right now is about rate of immigration. And what I find difficult to deal with is the fact that, I mean, you'll hear lots and lots of stats from different people about how many are coming in, how many are not, etc. But the fact of the matter is that we have people coming into this country at an unprecedented rate, and that clearly cannot be sustainable in an island of this size. Now, yes, okay, there's probably a little bit more space. You can see around here there's some greenery, probably build a few more houses, but at some point we have to be in a position where we can exercise some sort of control over the rate of migration. And I don't think that having policies like £9 minimum wages, when minimum wage basically, when you've got places like Romania where people are earning $500 a month as a full-time employee, the imbalance in that just doesn't add up. And the only net effect of that can be mass migration of people towards this country, and we're just not geared up. You look at the roads around here, you look at the hospitals, you look at the schools, every part of our infrastructure needs time to assimilate the people who come and join us. So a level of control is required, and the only way you can achieve that, in my view, is to get out of the EU and take control of our borders.